Hi Scorpio, if you'd like to come on in, have a seat for some symbolic support. My name is Steph. We are going to scry your scroll. As well, we're going to add on some oracle cards in the shaman's palm configuration. And you can see down here in the corner we have ghost tube for any visual inspirations that may arise. I'll bring it up on the screen as it does, or as anything comes up. Receive or release freely, of course. And if you would like to join me in opening up or fast forward through, it's up to you. I can take a moment here to close the eyes, taking a cleansing breath, cleansing the palette of perception, releasing the race and the rush, activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support in the name and honor of Scorpio Collective. Scorpio, thank you so much for being my muse, for holding space for me to share my insights and allowing me to be a guest in your aura. Looks like we have a character here that is really wanting to come forward. If this means anything to you, feels very warrior-like to me, that's coming through. But nonetheless, if that means, let it be inspiring. All right, Scorpio, insights off the hop here. I'll bring it down so you can scry with me and see through my eyes. It's like I'm filtering in information. Seeing one of those balls that come all the way down, like in a bubblegum machine. Boop, 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 boop. There's little bunnies here. It's like I paused in a state of fear somewhere along the lines. It's not just, it's almost like it's like there's something else, Scorpio, coming forward that you've been digging deeper and deeper and deeper in, at least how it's feeling for me, but you know me. Please see, sense, and feel for yourself. Versus following my yammerings and insights, but I do appreciate the space being held. So, because I'm seeing it like a rod or like rebar, something maybe in my mind or in the past, whatever the case may be, whatever it is for you. And I've been slowly like drawing this up onto the surface. And as I'm doing that, it's bringing me into like Oak Island, or the show Oak Island, like some sort of treasure. And I'm looking for something, but along each like bottleneck, I want to say I deal with something, but whatever that is, it's like I actually release part of I'm seeing a game. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's like a thing with sticks in it, and as you're like pulling out sticks, it starts to release something and you're given something. It kind of feels downloady, I'm not gonna lie. Like it feels like you receive something by pulling out. It's like walking through a cacti or a porcupine or something like that, and as you're like, or burrs, and you're picking them out, and it starts to clear something up. I'm also getting a pain in my behind my left shoulder blade. I don't know, even with that image that came through in the ghost tube, if you feel you've been attacked by something, and if something is like I'm in a constant state of protection, like survival versus thrival. It does kind of feel like it's something from my history, childhood or growing up, even adolescence, if I may. It doesn't feel like young childhood. It feels like adolescence to young adulthood. Shaman of Sorrows is coming through. Anyway, so on a positive note here, Scorpios, it's like I'm almost here. This is the conversation. There's a little spark there and one down here. It's like kerplunk almost is coming through. And, you know, if you like throw stones in water and you hear the clunk, clunk, clunk. And I want to know how deep something is. And I got to say, Scorpios, you're pretty deep. So I can imagine if you're wandering through, you know, family lines of things, even your own existence of, yep, it's like in a giving and receiving of how I interact with my family, how I interact with my, you know, tribe at work, how I may interact with a bunch of friends. There also might be some that, because I keep hearing the word gang, so I'm not sure if it's like so much in a gang that one might automatically perceive. It's more of like whoever your gang is, right? The people around you in whatever context. On the bottom we have Hunter of Gifts, and this may be what I'm searching and seeking for in the Kerplunk, because this well of wellness, or this well of whatever it is, holds something. And I feel like, there's like, it's like that Oak Island feel. There's a gift somewhere, possibly in your lineage, within yourself, it's like a DNA code. Hopefully that makes sense for you, Scorpios. Okay. Wandering into your cave of ice here in the pinky finger is the dancer of reconciliation. And this conversation is being had here. And I'm also reconciling with different fears or worries I may have. It reminds me of like growing up, seeing hauntingly things, spirits and such. And when you're younger, it's frightening. It doesn't have to be that, but if you do lend into that area, as cohorts, we can feel that, right? When you're seeing things when you're young. And for others, it might have been just growing up and having, I'm going to say rough, like a rough upbringing of some sort. Because in the Cave of Winds, it's like the shaman of sorrow steps forward, and those two like little, I don't know if it comes up there, he is like taking pills where like his eyes are in his mouth. And there's one there. It's like I've taken something to forget, and now I'm coming into like the Matrix, and now I'm taking the other pill to remember. And I'm reconciling something of maybe stepping back and going, I'm not so afraid anymore. Or I don't want to be afraid anymore. So the courage to step forward to those creatures, connections, people, places, or things, or simply to admit what it is that you want moving forward and taking steps towards that. Because in your Cave of Hearth Fires is the spirit of challenge stepping forward, which, if I may, also very much so looks like that kind of creature we saw in the ghost tube at the beginning. And this is the challenge. And there's also like again, downloading of information, but there's this wisdom at the top of like keeping your wits about you as you're moving through any sort of lies that have been told and how you're feeling. Because I think for some Scorpios, it's like your boss or somebody maybe that you're interacting with is like, no, we're here for you. If you need anything, let us know. And I'm going to say they kind of, sheet the bed type thing. Maybe, or they're not living up to the expectation you hold of what that means. So there's some sort of clarifying what is a lie and what is just a non-clarified commitment. It's saying, okay, what does this mean though? Especially for anyone moving forward in their career or in a relationship, it's like having the courage to ask those slightly deeper questions. Be like, I really want to be married and have children. Or, I want to, run my own business and my own empire. And then asking the next stage of questions. We want to offer you this job. Okay, let's ask the next phase of questions. When you say that I'm going to get a raise, or if you say that we're going to have another look-see at 6 months, what does that mean? What are the details of this? What are the expectations? There's clarity of information. And also, Scorpios, if you know me, I'm not going to necessarily project it out. It also feels like it's coming right back in, because it's like it goes out and it comes in. It goes out and it comes in. So as I'm going through this out and this in, this out and this in this like heartbeat kind of way, but it's also stark. I want this and I go inside. I don't want that. I push it away and then I go inside. So it's this ebb and flow of two frequencies coming together, of me trying to discern what I'm aligning with, clarifying that, but also speaking to myself to say, this is what I want. Maybe you want to heal something with someone in regards to a sorrow, or maybe you want to make a reconciliation with a job, a person, a partner, business, or personal, or family members. And it's like, well, how do I go about this? This is the challenge. because maybe things have been said and you feel that they've been said and they're deep. Like, it's like, again, I see that plop, boom. How deep is the water that has been sitting there for so long, and I want to, step into it or draw it up, like bucket by bucket. But I feel like your movements, because you've already got this magician like vibe of in and out, it's like honing in on that and personalizing and clarifying that, and then it will be received externally. And I feel like you're like because I'm seeing it like a lie detector, like when those, if I turn the scroll sideways, it's like beep, and whether they've told a truth or a lie is obviously up to you to discern. And in your cave of earth here is the shaman of courage, which is something you've manifested on the surface. You've manifested this courage by meeting your fertile fears and then on the flip side, because it is so balanced in the spirit of Scorpio as well, if I may, in that death and rebirth kind of cycle, to have the courage to be there, the courage to step back into, or more immersify yourself in your gifts, whatever this gift is for you, right? Or the gift that you want to give to yourself. That's how it's making me feel. All right, I'm going to flip this. Please do like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you to all those who warm my haunted heart. And do like, share, subscribe, and donate. All the links are below to help a gal grow if you want a personal, PayPal, all that kind of good stuff, or buy me a coffee. I adore you, so thank you, Scorpio. Okay, I'm going to add on a few more cards here, and then we'll also grab your aura scroll to add on. So when I was talking about, like, in more of those spiritual gifts, at least of what it feels like, maybe you are a seer of sorts, you see spirit, you see energy, maybe whatever the case may be, or even just, you're hardcore, lawyer or something like that, or you can just detect lies. I don't know how else to say it. I feel as though it's becoming even clearer, because it's like coming all the way down. Here's that seed that somebody might feed me, or I feed myself, and it's going to come all the way down the channel and out through my feet. If it's not received, like, it'll just be able to pass on by. Also, there might be some Scorpios going through like kidney stones or something, passing kidney stones. I'm not a medical doctor, just sharing the way I'm seeing it. Yeah, I'm passing something through. There's something about stress, because it feels like I'm in a heart stressed test. Me-tox, repairing the body, mind, and spirit. And this is supporting your cave of ice, what might have been frozen in time, especially if you're also going through your own history. Because it's bringing me into seeing, okay, here's STEPH here and now with you at 44, almost 45 years old. But there might be a part of me, or say other people, that remember me or hold me when I was 23, or things they're holding me accountable to that, and I'm frozen in that state when I was 19. And while that tells me it was very effectual, and I left an impression, but I'm not that person anymore. I've like Scorpio, you've evolved exponentially, but them telling you that, or it's like, oh, well, they can't be this anymore, this, really good at what they do, because I'm still seeing them as when they were a teenager, or when they were in their young 20s or something. They were still figuring things out, finding out who you were, who you wanted to be, cultivating your reality. It's like, almost instead of being upset at that, I'm like, oh, I understand. That's where you're holding me. So that's where the conversation begins. If Scorpio, being a guest here, thank you. If the Scorpio chooses to dive into that with you, to repair that. And your shaman of sorrows is supported by jeweled web connectivity. You understand the interconnected nature of all things. And if not, it's like light bulbs are going off as you're going around. Like I said, lie detector. And I don't necessarily mean it to say like lie detector, but even within the self. And as I like go around, meet these people, ideas, things that I might be interested in, things that inspire me. It's like, oh, I'd really like to take up pottery, or oh, I'd really like to learn how to fix my own car. And people like, you can't learn how to do that, or for whatever somebody else's opinion of it, or maybe even deep down inside yourself, you're like, but I'm not smart enough. That's why there's school. That's why there's mentors. That's why there's teachers, because we don't all walk around knowing things, and we have an opportunity to learn them. But you're also learning things about other people around you. And they are telling you, I feel like they're very clearly telling you where they hold you. And in the challenge in your hearth fires of your heart is not necessarily to be so upset about that. It's more so about realizing the clarity of that and saying, oh, okay, so this is where I can get to that source and understand that's where the conversation might actually start to flourish from, versus me trying to, feed this version of me. It's like, no, I'm successful now, or whatever the case is. And, or I need help. And you said you would help. You said if I needed time off from work, just let us know and we'll do whatever we can. And it's like, hey, I need some time off. And they're like, well, we can't do that. And it's like, okay, well, let's clarify here some of this language, because I was working off this. So let's step into this. And getting back to integrity, the challenge of whatever scope it is that you are trying to fine tune, because it's like I'm seeing this little dot here in your scroll. It's like it's highlighted. It became like I zoomed in and now I can see this compass, this portal. And I've accepted the challenge to go through. I've accepted to see things. So this is also part of that seer kind of space that you guys are in. Whether it's ghostly hauntings, energy, lies, whatever the case is, you can see it now. The challenge is that you're seeing things. Expansive seeing within the self, even just like your scroll. Expansive out, expansive internalizing, externalizing. That doesn't always mean you see fun things. That doesn't mean it's an enemy. It doesn't mean it is worth your time either. Some things, are a little scarier and other things are a little sweeter. But you see things now. I think you always have, in whatever shape or form this is coming into, but you're accepting it. You've accepted to say, yes, I am a seer. I see things. And here we are. I can't even lie to myself anymore. And as I say that, master number 33 is coming through, and it's coming into your cave of rivers of how you're feeling inspired. It's like by getting back and fine-tuning your integrity and not forcing anyone to align into yours, but simply stating, okay, this is where I'm at. And it's like there's a secondary dial to focus to help other people see that. But if they can't, that's okay. It's like out of the aura they go, thank you. And if they're going to hold that version, they're going to hold that version. There's nothing for you to do. Your work is done. Your work is done. When it comes internalized, it's like I feel I'm getting back to my integrity, realizing of what I want, clarifying things, and I'm inspired. Now I'm inspired. And I get to create. And I want to note the greenery in these cards. It's like coming through as well. Let's see if we can, that same greenery. It's like in the violin, No Longer Cry Me a River, is in the jeweled web of connectivity. But it's also between these two cards, it's like a beautiful mixture of this me talks. Heart and solar plexus as well. Heart and solar plexus. Okay. Going into the shaman of courage in your cave of earth, we have horseman, herald of change. That feels really, really well. That feels really, really well. On the bottom, we have dragons, horde, protecting the future, supporting your hunter of gifts, because gifts are coming in. You are a gift. You are creating gifts. You're gifted. You're gifted. And if there's been any sort of internal conflict, it's almost as if some of you might just not be admitting that maybe you are highly sensitive to things. And you could have been repelling things because of that. And it's coming into your root space with your aura scroll here. If there's anything that stands out, you know the drill. Please see, sense, and feel for yourself. Because I'm seeing like fighter jets here. And they're like looking at each other. They get their guns out like, it's you, it's you. And I'm at a standoff with someone or something inside myself or without. It feels passionate and also a little pissy. I don't know which one it is, if not a little bit of both. But I'm a little exhausted. I'm a little exhausted in this root space of having to hold something on my own, feeling alone when realizing I am connected to something. But I'm not sure what. It feels like I'm just admitting to myself. I'm holding on to these things. I'm tired of holding on to even to these versions of my own self, or being really hard on myself for who I was at this age, what I did. And it's like making amends. And that's when it ties back in, and I'm suddenly like, oh, this clear channel. I'm making amends with my own awareness. I'm making that okay, yeah, so there's something also about like a tube going down the throat. If somebody might have maybe there's like a surgery or something that you went through. I don't know, but there's something about a tube down a throat as well. Sorry, if you want to zoom into these, I'll bring them up in a second, Scorpio. I got distracted there. It was a weird feeling to feel. I'm making the changes because I'm tired. Fiercely tired. And I won't lie, it feels like I need to start with me. I need to be the one to say, I'm not that person anymore, or this is who I'm building myself to be. And I'm that inspiration. I'm the inspiration. I'm not going to beat myself up for things that didn't work out the way I wanted them to. Or those that have failed me because maybe there wasn't a clear communication about something. And I take responsibility for that. But now it's like, if I'm being very honest, it's like now that you're throwing, that rock in or that stone and the bubble gum, and it's going to float down, it's going to bypass these things because you've done so much by you living it. And even if it's little things, like if one's in a depressive state or a very divine state and you're going deeper, right? And maybe one might call it shadow work, this, that, or the other, whatever the case is. And the courage to do that, the courage to step up for yourself and stand up for yourself. You bypass. The best way I can say that is like the upside down world. And you bypass it, you go straight through. You're creating a clear path to what I feel is your gift and your future. And you literally are the architect of that. You are the architect of that. Your cards that came through, I want to bring these up for you, is water, emotional well-being, fire, dragon, strength. And you had here the dragon's horde, protecting the future on your bottom cards, and the hunter of gifts, which is a very fiery card. These are very mimicking of each other. Sacral as well. Filling the well. This was like a well and things are like bouncing off. I want it to be higher frequency. And it is higher frequency. And that's supported here with the crown, higher realms and magic. I honestly feel like some of you are seers, sensitive, and you might have been neglecting or negating or have been pushing off, even just admitting what you see. It's like being in a relationship and you're seeing red flags and you ignore them. You're not ignoring them anymore. And then you're not also calling them out, and like poking the bear, but you're just kindly saying, Can we clarify this? Or what did you just say? Or that didn't feel great. I want this to work out, but it doesn't feel great, even if it's a job. All right, Scorpios. Last but not least, we have here your trees. And you have the Judas tree. I'll bring this down so you can see. The Judas tree, seduction. Your own passion may cause you suffering. Keep alert to what is not yet in sight. Danger can be avoided. I feel like we've been talking about this. Any sort of red flags. Your passion or pissiness is what creates what's going to come forward as your gifts, what you're reaching towards, seeking towards. Your next tree that came up is the yew tree of renewal, which is fantastic because I feel like you're in this state. You are your own herald of change. I'm waiting for nobody, and I need nobody's permission. The yew tree. Inner spiritual strength is renewed, bringing peace, certainty, and stability to nourish your soul. I love it. It's so nice. And again, receive that, right? Like, Scorpios, receive that. The berries from spirit. They are really the sweet side of things. It's not all thorns. It's not all thorns. And then last but not least, here we have the juniper tree, security. Protective powers guard against harm and bring victory through bravery. Scorpio, I don't know if the lighting will allow this to come through, but you should be really proud of yourself. And I'm not going to lie, I feel so excited for you. I feel excited for you. I feel as though I've been mummified and I'm taking these bandages off and I'm coming out with like this facelift of me, of my own frequency. And I'm back, baby. That's how it makes me feel. I'm back. Scorpios, thank you so much. So much. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.